Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Samantha Murphy? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. In 2024, 51-year-old Samantha Murphy lived in Ballarat, Victoria, Australia. This is about an hour and a half west of Melbourne. Ballarat is in an area referred to as the Central Highlands and has a population of just under 120,000 people. The city is known for having a plentiful level of illegal drug distribution and a robust homeless population. Samantha and her husband, Michael Murphy, lived on Eureka Street and ran a vehicle collision repair business not far from their house. Now moving to the timeline of the incident. On Saturday, February 3, 2024, Samantha had dinner at her house. Her husband and some friends were there. During dinner, Samantha talked about how she had been walking and running lately in the local bushland. She told everyone that she was going to run 8.5 miles the next day as part of her training for a 13-mile fun run. Samantha would be running south through the Wubu-Kurrung Regional Park and Mount Clear areas all the way down to Mount Helen. On the next day, Sunday, February 4, 2024, Samantha left her house at 7 a.m. to go for the run. She headed south as planned and was carrying at least 2 electronic devices, her iPhone and her Apple Watch. The high temperature that day was 96 degrees. In Australia, February is in the summer season. At 11 a.m., Samantha was supposed to attend brunch, but she never returned home. Her family contacted the police and reported her missing. A massive search effort was initiated, with the primary focus being on the Mount Clear and Mount Helen areas. The search lasted for days, but did not have any success. No sign of Samantha was detected. No clothing, no sign of a struggle, absolutely nothing. The police examined data from Samantha's electronic devices. It appears as though she made it about 4.3 miles into her planned run. This is roughly the halfway point. Nothing appeared to be out of the ordinary until this point, but then Samantha's iPhone and Apple Watch stopped sending data. It's not clear how the devices were disabled. Were they deactivated, destroyed, buried? The police have not revealed any information about this. At the time making this video, the search for Samantha Murphy continues, and many people fear the worst. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. On February 11, 2023, about a year before Samantha Murphy went missing, a woman named Sissy Austin, who was running in the bushland, claimed that she was attacked and knocked unconscious about 12 miles from Samantha's last known location. Sissy indicated that a man with bare feet struck her with a rock, which was tied to a stick. When she regained consciousness, he was gone, and she made her way to safety. The alleged attacker was never identified. There's no way to know if this incident could be connected to Samantha's disappearance, but I think it is unlikely. It would appear as though the man who allegedly attacked Sissy was fairly unsophisticated and not acting with a clear purpose. What was the point of attacking her and running away? If Samantha was in fact attacked by a perpetrator, this individual knew how to disable both her iPhone and her Apple Watch and made Samantha disappear. This is a far stretch from a barefoot man carrying a weapon fashioned from a stick and a rock. Item number 2. The police believe that one or more perpetrators attacked Samantha. They ruled out the theory that she became injured or sick during her run. The theory they are working under is that Samantha was murdered and the killer or killers moved her body. It is not unusual in cases like this for the romantic interest of the missing person to be thoroughly investigated. According to the police, Samantha's husband is not a suspect, although they are continuing to look at everyone connected to Samantha. A damaged car was spotted in the area where Samantha disappeared, but there is no way to know if this car was involved in the incident. Item number 3. High-profile disappearances tend to attract self-proclaimed psychics, and this case is no exception. There were psychics who claimed that they tuned into Samantha and knew where she was. Others said that she was very spiritual, therefore it was easy to connect to her. Not surprisingly, no psychic was actually able to deliver any helpful information, because that would require legitimacy. It appears as though the police were getting overwhelmed or frustrated with reports from psychics. The Victoria Police Commissioner asked members of the public to stop speculating about what could have happened with Samantha Murphy, although it's worth noting that he didn't say anything about not speculating about a situation like this. I think these types of cases are so compelling because of the random and unprovoked qualities. Like Samantha was just running and minding her own business when, out of the blue, someone attacked her. If it could happen to her, it could happen to anyone. When people become afraid, they try to find an explanation for the incident which makes them feel safe. For example, someone might believe that Samantha was targeted by someone she knew because that would make the crime not random. Item number 4, let's take a look at the various theories about what happened to Samantha Murphy. Theory number 1 is that Samantha simply left on her own. Maybe she wanted to start a new life, or she wanted to make a permanent exit from this world. This is supported by the report that her electronic devices stopped sending data at the same time. Maybe she deactivated or disabled them. Most of the time, when a device stops sending information, it is due to the owner's activity. Working against this theory is how Samantha was very connected to her family and community. People who knew her suggested that she would never take off on her own without telling anyone. She did not have any motive to leave her entire world behind. Theory number 2 is that Samantha was the victim of an accident. There was no perpetrator, rather only Samantha was involved. The bushland in Australia can be exceedingly dangerous, especially on extremely hot days. Maybe Samantha became sick, wandered off the trail, and fell down a mine shaft. There are many of them in the area, some are over 50 feet deep. This would explain the behavior of her electronic devices. The information is not getting through because the devices are in a mine shaft with her. As far as evidence contradicting this theory, Samantha regularly ran in the area and knew about the mine shaft dangers. If she became ill, she would not have wandered off the trail. She had a phone and could have simply called for help. There was no point along the route where her phone would have been without service. Theory number 3 is that Samantha was the victim of an accident, but someone else was involved. The mention of a damaged car points to the idea that someone collided with Samantha as she was running. Realizing that they killed her or severely injured her, they placed her body in a mine shaft and left. Alternatively, they took her in their vehicle and disposed of her body somewhere else. There are, of course, problems with this theory. For example, one would think that the collision would have left physical evidence at the scene, and if someone desired to get away after striking Samantha, they probably would have simply kept on driving. Why would they go to all these lengths to dispose of Samantha's body and increase the amount of evidence left behind? Theory number 4, Samantha was attacked by someone who she knew, like a family member, lover, friend, coworker, or neighbor. The objective of the attack was specifically to kill or abduct Samantha. She was targeted by someone who had been watching her for a while. This would explain how the attacker knew that Samantha would be in a vulnerable position in the bushland. The perpetrator was aware of her schedule and was waiting for her. The attack was executed with precision. Samantha was murdered or kidnapped, and her electronic devices were quickly disabled. When women are attacked under these circumstances, the likely perpetrator would be a lover, but the police have already declared that Samantha's husband is not a suspect. Was Samantha involved romantically with someone else? Maybe someone else wanted to be romantically involved with her, but she had no idea who they were, like Samantha had a stalker or secret admirer. If someone was interested in Samantha specifically, attacking her in the bushland during a run would be the most logical strategy to avoid being caught by the police. Theory number 5, Samantha was attacked by a stranger. Maybe the attacker lived in Ballarat and kept an eye on the various trails looking for a target. Samantha was targeted simply because she was in a vulnerable position. It was a crime of opportunity. Maybe the perpetrator was a homeless individual who lived in the bushland. The man saw her and made the decision to attack spontaneously. This theory has a number of problems. For example, random attacks by strangers are relatively rare. Anyone who is capable of this type of attack, as far as personality traits, would probably not be organized enough to destroy all the evidence. Without thinking about the crime in advance, how would a stranger have known what electronic devices Samantha possessed? How would he have known how to disable them? How did he get rid of her body? All these activities are more consistent with some type of planning. When considering the various theories, how would I rank them from most to least probable? In my opinion, theory number 4 is the most likely. Samantha was attacked by someone she knew. Theory number 5, a stranger attack, would be close behind as far as likelihood, if not equal in likelihood. Next, I would say theory number 3, which is the hit and run explanation. Then I would go with theory number 2. This was an accident that did not involve anyone but Samantha, like she ran off the trail and fell into a mine shaft. Finally, I would go with theory number 1. Samantha disappeared deliberately of her own volition. There are, of course, other possibilities outside of those contained in these theories. For example, Samantha could have been hit by a car that left the scene, then she wandered off the trail and fell into a mine shaft, like her head was injured and she wasn't thinking clearly. It's also possible that she was kidnapped by a rogue group of kangaroos, but these possibilities are so unlikely that I did not include them in my calculations. One major difficulty with a case which involves very little information is that any new information, even a small detail, could drastically change the probability of the theories. For example, if the police said that the damaged car had blood on it, that would strongly point to a hit-and-run situation. If they said something about Samantha being depressed or consuming substances, that would bolster the two theories which only involved the actions of Samantha. If a kangaroo was spotted carrying an iPhone, that would blow up all the theories. The police are notorious for withholding key information from the public, especially details that would be embarrassing for the victim. They mean well when they do this, but it can be disastrous as far as accurately calculating the probability of each theory. Now moving to my final thoughts. I believe that the police have a lot more information than they are revealing. This case may seem like it is about a lack of data, but it may actually be about an overabundance of data, where the signal-to-noise ratio is not favorable for the police. Almost certainly, the police are reviewing the data from all the electronic devices in the area, trying to identify potential suspects. Who else was on the trail? Who else was near Samantha? Did any of these people have any connection to her? Whose movements are difficult to explain outside of criminal activity? Anyone capable of murdering or kidnapping Samantha would be at a much greater risk of having antisocial traits and a criminal record, so the police should pay attention to those aspects as well. There are many ways to find the signal and disregard the noise, but it is not promising how the police are frustrated over a few reports from psychics. If that small distraction is enough to derail the investigation, this case will never be solved. Those are my thoughts in the case of Samantha Murphy. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.